Welcome back to Black Canadian Legacy. In our last documentary, we explored the brilliance of Elijah McCoy, the inventor whose genius was so respected, his name became the standard for quality. Today, we continue honoring our hidden history with the powerful story of Carrie Best, a woman who refused silence, challenged segregation, and built a newspaper that carried the voices others ignored. If you enjoy these documentaries and want more stories like Elijah McCoy and Carrie Best, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us keep these legacies alive. Your engagement keeps their names from disappearing. Carrie Best, a name many Canadians were never taught, but should never forget. Born in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia in 1903, Carrie came into a world where being Black meant knowing the limits other people set for you. But Carrie refused those limits. Even as a child, she was fiery, bold, unshaken, and unafraid to speak when silence was expected. She believed something powerful, that a quiet voice becomes an accomplice. So she never chose quiet. She chose justice. In 1941, Carrie Best walked into the Roseland Theatre with her son. The rule was unspoken, but enforced. Black people were to stay in the balcony. They bought their tickets, walked past the expectation, and sat on the main floor. That small act of sitting in a seat she paid for became revolutionary. When staff confronted her, Carrie did not move. When police arrived, she did not back down. When she was pulled out and taken to court, she stood up straighter. She sued the theater for discrimination. She lost in the courtroom, but she won something history cannot take away. A spark had been lit. A movement had begun. Carrie realized something dangerous and transformative. If the newspapers would not tell Black stories, she would create one that did. In 1946, she founded the Clarion, the first Black-owned and published newspaper in Nova Scotia. Its pages carried truth other papers ignored. The Clarion investigated segregation, exposed injustice, and amplified Black voices in a time when silence was safer. Through ink and courage, Carrie Best became a force Canada could no longer overlook. Her work grew beyond Nova Scotia. Carrie became a broadcaster on CBC radio, speaking directly into thousands of homes and minds across the country. She fought school segregation, housing discrimination, employment inequality, and legal injustice, using her voice like a weapon sharp and unstoppable. She earned the Order of Canada, the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Medal, honorary degrees, and the respect of generations who would benefit from battles she fought decades before they were born. Carrie Best once said, "When I write, I speak for the voiceless." Today, we speak her name in return, not as a footnote, but as a foundation, not as a quiet mention, but as a woman who changed this nation with nothing but conviction, courage, and a printing press. This is the story of Carrie Best, a woman Canada tried to silence and a woman who refused to stop speaking. If this story moved you, share it so her voice continues beyond time. Carrie Best spoke when she was expected to stay silent. She wrote truth when it was dangerous. And because of her, generations who came after her stood taller. To reiterate, if you enjoy these documentaries and want more stories like Elijah McCoy and Carrie Best, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us keep these legacies alive. Your engagement keeps their names from disappearing. Comment and tell me, whose legacy should we honor next? Viola Desmond? Mary Ann Shadd? Lincoln Alexander? Your voice guides the next story. This is Black Canadian Legacy, where history breathes again and where we make sure names like Carrie Best are never forgotten. Documentary storytelling meets heritage education. Black history told with pride, power, and purpose. As we journey through the past to understand the power of the present, subscribe and join the movement to keep these legacies alive, because our history is Canada's history.